good afternoon, and good evening, everybody, and welcome back to another round of the Grand Prestige League. It is time for SWT to go ahead and take their time around the Glen, one of the most famous and one of the first ever circuits in America. It's been open since the 1940s, and it has seen very little changes since its original opening layout. And we are going to race here today. It has been used by Formula One, IndyCar, IMSA, the World Endurance Championship at some stages over its near 50-year history of existing as a racetrack. And now it is time for Super Formula to take their time around this track. It's going to be high speed, high degradation, not to the point of Barcelona a while ago, but it is still going to be a very tricky, and it's a track that is going to be a bit difficult for some of our drivers. My name is Patrick Holman, aka Rekus, and alongside me is one of the Toyota drivers in the World Elite Championship. It is Rogue. How you doing today, mate?
Good like always. How about yourself, mate?
I can't complain. We're here at one of the best tracks on the calendar. It's a fun one. You and I were just doing some practice laps around here earlier on, although, as you can tell, neither one of us are competing here today. You did your competition last week, and I'm just a commentator. But it is a fun track. Wind is going to be a bit of a tricky one. Dirty air is also really rough around this track compared to some of the other tracks we visited previously. So I think that's definitely going to take effect.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, like you said as well, degradation, the dirty air is going to be a massive factor in this race. Not as much for qualifying, but when the grid is spreading in the race, usually it is getting a little bit difficult to follow the cars in front of you, for example. And it's going to be an exciting race, that's for sure. With a lot of different strategies coming to play. Maybe we're going to see a hard tire, but that's off play today in Watkins Glen.
Yeah, we saw some drivers running the hard tire last week, but considering that this is about half the race distance, I do not think we're going to be seeing that this time around. But it is time to get going with some racing action. But first, before we get there, it is quali, and qualifying is underway. We have a 12-car grid here today, just one car shy of a full grid. It is going to be Dennis for Hellas Racing, followed by Iceman for LFO Karma, and a tall man for Red Bull Adidas, followed by Schultze in the high caliber McLaren machine, and it is B23 for Exo Rapide, and then it is Flaring Aces also for the high caliber team, and then Decadona for Red Bull Adidas, and Dishutti for LFO Karma, Nico DeSicco for Project Zero Racing, and then in the pits, MayJP, Chemiser, and Killswitch for EXO, Hololive, and Project Zero respectively. So we got 12 cars on track here today. Now Dennis has, alongside some of the other drivers, has made his debut in WEC as a reserve driver recently, so some of these drivers are coming into this weekend with some experience already under their belts.
Yep. I believe Dennis did a pretty good job in the WC class last week out. I'm expecting big things because of that from him. I think he's going to be one of the favorites to win this race today. Exactly.
He's one of the drivers that is touted very highly. A lot of respect behind the Greek driver for Hellas Racing, who jumped in with LFO previously. Iceman also coming back here and racing for LFO Karma in round 3. Schultze and the high caliber team with a brand new livery for the race. I love that metallic flake design. That is such a good design. I love it there for Schultze and Flaring Aces. But obviously you got the EXO guys you got to really think about. MayJP, championship leader at the moment. He is currently in a very good spot. 2 podiums on the bounce. He won in Dragon Trail and got a very good P2 in Barcelona. So now he's going to look. We'll see if he drops to third. He'll just gradually get lower. I'm kidding. Well, that is possible. It's not super likely. Major P, he's been one of the strongest drivers, definitely the strongest out of the rookies when it comes to the SWT, the Sprint World Tour Series here at the Grand Prestige League. But it's also like I'm seeing it kind of like a Lewis Hamilton at McLaren kind of thing, because he is in one of the highest rated teams in the history of Super Formula Racing here on Gran Turismo. And he's also a rookie, so starting off with a good team will help you out quite nicely.
Yeah, for sure. If you're having a deal with EXO, it's always good to be, you're going to be backed up with a lot of data, especially with strategies and with setups also. If you're in a team like that, it's basically guaranteed for a good result. Mostly always. It's the same with the high caliber as well. It's like a partnership between them ish, because of the history with them together in FGT. They did a collaboration team, so I think their partnership is there, but of course because of the rivalry they are not going to share everything, of course.
They do occasionally kind of come together for different series as well. I've seen them work together in Enduro GT and a few other racing series as well, and they do share drivers on occasion. May JP is a reserve driver for High Caliber in WEC, and he does race there. So far has raced every single round, so I think May JP is one of, I think, 3 drivers who has raced in every single GPL race this season, which is pretty rare, because we do see drivers come from SWT to WEC for a few one-off appearances, but just the way the teams are set up this season, I mean, we've seen that actually quite a bit. We've seen quite a few drivers get called in as reserves. I mean, LFO has had some reserves. I mean, Dennis was a really good reserve for them last week, and then Dacadono reserved in for High Caliber as well. Tallman also reserving in for Porsche alongside F16. Major P reserving for High Caliber as well. So High Caliber did have a full reserve lineup last week in WEC. So a lot of these drivers do get a lot of good chances to really show what they're made of and really just kind of get some extra practice in too, because that's, you were talking about data earlier with the EXO drivers, and that's just another bit of data that you can work with, just racing into higher tier.
For sure, but some calculation might be off, but that's really not, well, it's not really that big of a deal because of the fuel loads as well you carry with the longer distances. It's not always the same, but it's damn near what it could be in the SWT race at the end of the day.
Yeah, SWT is a shorter race, but doesn't mean it's less intense by any stretch of the imagination. Still get some really, really good racing here in these races as now Killswitch is making his way on through. As we are about a little over a third of the way through qualifying, one of the changes for this season is that qualifying is now up to 15 minutes from 10 previously. So drivers get a little bit of extra time around this track. Right now, Dennis does set the benchmark at a 120.2. He was looking really strong in practice earlier on, so that's of no real surprise, but considering that he did have a really, really good result in the WEC race, as May JP actually does improve to provisional pole, but Dennis actually is purple through the second sector, so now he's just got to make his way through the final sector, and we may see Dennis on pole position. And I know we talked a good amount about his exploits in WEC last week, but he's been really strong all season in SWT as well. We got a podium on debut with the brand new team, and Dragon Trail got a P2 with this new Hellas Racing outfit, and now he's taking provisional pole by over 2.5 tenths of a second.
Ooh, wow. That is a big shocker for me, actually. I mean, I knew he was quick, but I didn't think it would be this quick, especially in qualifying. I would say the gaps would have been a little bit closer between Dennis and MJP, especially.
Yeah, I'm actually really surprised here. But qualifying is one thing, race pace is another, and Flying Ace actually had a bit of an off. So now as Flying Ace is getting spun around, we'll see if we can queue up a replay. Nope. Unfortunately, we are not going to be able to queue up that replay, but we're going to just run aboard with the reigning champion of B23, as he is going to go ahead and make his way around the track. So, if there's a driver who is kind of brand new to this track and trying to learn it, what advice would you try to give somebody who is trying to learn Watkins Glen?
Don't go too fast initially. Most people usually make the mistake of trying to go too fast, me myself included as well. Trying to go fast, learn too quickly. If you really take the lines on a slow lap, for example, you can see where you can push more on the actual push laps, and you can see where time could be gained at the end of the practice session, and you can improve steadily from there, so you can build up momentum, pace, and also include some testing besides race pace in the program, essentially. So take it easy in the first go, and then build up the momentum. Just that's all.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, consistency is what wins you races. I mean, yeah, in some series you do get points for getting a pole position, but if you want the big points, you really gotta lock it in pretty quickly. You gotta get it in. You gotta build up that consistency, and practicing that consistency helps you maximize that pole position that you might get. You can get pole position every single race, but if your consistency is not there, then you may find yourself towards the middle or even the back of the field. So you really want to try to make sure that, and Tallman's actually off the track a bit, so bit of a wall ride there for the young British driver. Part of the Red Bull Adidas project, as now he is making his way through. He is going to go ahead and continue on. Bit of a snap of oversteer there for one of the rookies in the field, but he is going to continue on racing through, and this is another driver who's been gaining a lot of experience from competing in both WEC and SWT, and he has been making some good strides here. But although he's been a bit on the unlucky side in most races, he can start good, but something just down the line, whether it's a personal mistake or he gets taken out, something happens where he just can't really maximize the opportunities he gets.
Yeah, it's, for sure. It's always difficult to find your feet in your first season, especially as well, and also like learning a new track. It has its challenges, but you really need to find your footing in that, especially, and then, like I said, build momentum, get more comfortable with the car, more know-how with the setups, tuning, and sorts, especially gearbox as well. I think he's struggling a little bit with that as well. Really maximizing his car is really important for him as well. Not only on the skill side, but the feeling of the car is very important.
Yeah, a big thing that separates Grand Prestige League from most, if not every other Super Formula League, is it is open tuning. So pretty much you can tune practically everything under the sun for these cars, and if you're not familiar with the tuning, because in most series, right, you do have the balance of performance, which kind of locks everybody into the same setup. For the most part, I know some series are kind of looser about it. Some leagues let you adjust wings, etc. But here at GPL, it's pretty much open season when it comes to tuning. So every part is tunable. Your wings, your suspension, your anti-roll bars, your transmission, your anti-lag on your engine. There's so many things that are adjustable on these cars that, I mean, that in itself is a skill. Just learning how to tune these cars to best suit what you're going for.
Yeah, that's it's really I think it's good from GPL that they're doing the open tuning stuff. It really
Oh, I agree.
helps the understanding of the car a lot more instead of like BOP. It is, you get what you have been given and you just gotta deal with it. But if you have open tuning, you can have an influence on the car's behavior, and that makes it a lot more fun to drive, especially.
Yeah, that's actually the thing that's in real motorsports too. I mean, yeah, I mean, you obviously got some BOP settings, but that's mostly just in terms of like power. And AJP, I think, had a little bit of impeding there on anti-shifty, but anti-shifty did have that penalty that he did have to kind of go through. So,
ooh, we got a penalty, Major P.
ooh, that is a bit of a rough go at things, but it does happen. And I think just trying to get out of the way of one anti-shifty, then yeah, that is unfortunate, but it does happen from time to time. As now he goes back and he's going to give it another go, but you only got about 2 minutes of quality left, so you really just got to go for it now at this stage.
Indeed, it's good he's on an out lap for now, but if he was on a hot lap, it could have been a really bit more annoying that Shifty would have been there. So it is not as big of a deal, but you'd want to avoid that at all costs, basically.
Yeah, so we'll just kind of have to see as B23 jumps up, engine improvement up into P3 at the moment. Still about half a second away from his teammate though, which is a bit of a shocker for B23. I mean, he had a good qualifying last week, or 2 weeks ago in Barcelona, but he did get dropped down the order due to an outstanding penalty that he had to serve. But the fact that he's still about 2/10 away from his teammate, or half a second away from his teammate, but he is improving by about 0.02 of a second there. It's looking purple, so we'll see.
May should be on a purple as well, 1/10.
What about Dennis? Dennis is going to come across the line. It is not an improvement. He's down by by just under a second, but now we're going to see quite a few drivers. Oh, it's purple still from AJP. So this might be a battle between the two Exos on who's going to get pole position here.
It's looking good so far, but I see Brandon's getting a little bit of impeding on his lap. Maybe, if it's always going a little bit wide there.
I think it's that dirty air that we were talking about earlier.
Yep, I'm not sure if he's on a push lap or not.
Oh no, he's not. He's on the out lap, so... that's gonna be... Even though, yes, I am like team... Even though, yeah, I am team owner of LFO Karma, that is, like, if there's a I mean, I can't get involved with the penalties anyway for that, but I think that would be definitely an impeding. That would be definitely impeding. Because P23 had potential for pole. That was 100% impeding. If you're on an out lap, you should just stay over to the side and let the other car through. I mean, I know time is of the essence. Now that qualifying is basically done. But we'll see. Now it's going to be up to AJP. P3 is still good for B23, but I know he is definitely not going to be happy about that impeding, and that's definitely going to end up in the stewards reports here as we wrap up qualifying.
Definitely not. Dennis is not improving on his hot lap. He's also scraping the wall a little bit.
Oh, he spun actually.
No, it's the handbrake. He pulled the handbrake on that, but he did hit the wall on the exit of the final corner. Why is Shifty Spring smoking so much?
That was a good question.
That was interesting.
But now we see AJP now. Oh, he has dropped about 0.3 of a second. So Dennis might be getting Hellas Racing's first ever pole position in the Grand Prestige League. So AJP now is going to come across the line. It is not going to be enough. Flying Aces, he's done. Iceman is going to come across the line. He doesn't improve either. He'll start from 5th. And yeah, I think that's it for quali. So yeah, Dennis taking pole position by over 0.3 of a second in the Hellas Racing machine. Very good stuff there. You love to see it. You love to see these new teams get a spot in the spotlight.
Oh yeah, definitely.
That's a Greek driver with a Greek team. Very good stuff.
Yep. Wait. I'm trying to look up the qualifying results from WEC and trying to compare them real quick.
Alright,
so he did improve on his time compared to WEC.
Well, there we go. And now we're going to go ahead and run through our qualifying results here, it is going to be Dennis ahead of MayJP, B23, Flaring Aces, and Iceman rounding out top 5. Then it's Duckadono, Tallman, and Schulte, followed by Nico, Killswitch, Chemazure, and Anti-Shifty rounding out the field here in SWT. But we're going to go ahead and reset the lobby, and we're going to go ahead and just reset the grid manually, so everybody should be pretty much ready to go if they want to make some quick tuning setup changes. And there we go. Stuff is being changed here, but here's the question though, right? Do you think Dennis will be able to hold on to that lead and maybe get his maiden win here? Or do you think the EXO drivers are going to take it?
That is a good question. If he can keep the consistency, he might have a good shot at winning the race. I remember last time he was in WAC, he didn't have that consistency with him. Maybe he did improve on that this week. So we will see this in the race. But I think one of the extra drivers will be very close to him. That's for sure. I don't think it's going to be a slam dunk win for Dennis on this occasion.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting stuff here today. But another thing too is that EXO they're in a position to really play the team game, and Dennis does not have a teammate, so that's gonna make things a bit difficult for him here. So as we're waiting for everybody to get in, MayJP saying his toilet broke. Interesting. That's quite not optimal. Wheel rotation is iffy. So we're just waiting on those two to jump on in. Shifty is in, and now it's just MayJP. Now the question is, what did MayJP do to his toilet to break it? I don't know.
A bit of a spooky dookie right there. As Brandon would call it. Or a creepy pee-pee.
Alright. But, I mean, he could be doing like, I don't know if you've ever watched Battlefield Friends, but he could be pooping in a bucket while playing Gran Turismo.
That would be very odd.
Okay, I'm reading in the YouTube chat that I missed a joke apparently. Well, first off, I don't know if that was on purpose, but MayJP, you're awesome, but you misspelled vegetable, mate. Vegetable.
Must be the water.
I think Charlotte actually got a water bottle that says that now. His water bottle said must be the water. I think that's the thing now.
From Charles, is it?
Yeah, I think that's the thing. Also, I do want to go ahead and want to wish everyone a happy International Women's Day. Don't do what Twitch Rivals is doing and go play Cookout. I still don't get, or Overcooked, that's the game. I still don't know why they made that call, but go ahead and, just say, I guess, thank you. I'm not sure exactly what else you would say, but say thank you to like your significant other, your spouse, your mom, grandma, any woman that is important to you in your life. Just go ahead and say thank you and tell them that you appreciate them. Because I know there's a lot of, I can at least speak for myself. I know there's a lot of moms that like to support their sons and daughters when it comes to any of their hobbies, whether it's sim racing, commentating, all the above, and anything really. So just happy International Women's Day, and thank all the women for putting up with some of the men's shenanigans. I mean, I can speak for myself. My poor girlfriend hears me scream at midnight at people on Call of Duty, so.
Yeah. You all gotta done some things like that, huh? The midnight games.
Yes. Or like, if you play like a Roblox horror game at like 3 AM, it's it could be like, have you ever played like a Roblox horror game with a group of friends at like 4 AM? I feel like doing it with all the extra guys would be really hilarious.
I mean, we did once. It was FNAF co-op.
Oh, I love that game.
4 people in the room, and it was chaos, that's for sure. I remember screaming a lot. Not one of my proudest moments though.
It is pretty funny sometimes, and this just shows you that our drivers are not robots. They're human. They're not AI generated. They are real people. They do have some. They do some fun stuff outside of sim racing. Although, I think GPL really, or not GPL. I mean, GPL does obviously have the potential to be a really awesome content house when it comes to Grand Prestige League, Super Formula Racing, but I feel like EXO and like High Caliber could be like the FaZe clan, like content kings of sim racing. That could be pretty funny to watch. Just pick one driver and just specifically rage bait him. But anywho, we can talk about social media stuff later on. We're about to get racing here for round number 3 of the Sprint World Tour. We are here in Watkins Glen, New York, here in the United States of America. And Dennis leads us from pole position. The drivers are on the grid, ready to go. And who is going to go ahead and be the quickest off the line? We're about to find out. We see those 5 red lights coming on. And it is lights out and away we go. And a not so great start there from Dennis. MayJP gets him right off the line, but he's given a blue flag somehow. And that's interesting. MayJP is still registered in second. So some positions aren't exactly changing. Okay, it just took a second update. A really good getaway there from Iceman. B23 is going to go in and fight. A really bad start for Dennis. He's down in the P6. Those drivers are really trying to jockey for position now. Ducatono is going to go ahead and try to look for anything. Tallman touches a little bit of grass there.
Side by side.
Oh, and the 2 High Caliber guys. Oh, Flaring Aces goes really deep. He goes over the chicane. And there's penalties.
Ooh, Iceman got clamped into the wall in the lap 1. Into the bus stop.
Yeah, luckily for them. And actually, Anti-Shifty has moved up from 12th to 3rd already in the span of a singular lap. That's really good stuff from a driver who was hunting down that podium in Barcelona. Flying Aces really having some strong connectivity, little jitters there, at least on our end, as now he's trying to chase down his teammate of Schulte. Dennis is going to try to make up some ground. Tallman now trying to get some ground as well. But yeah, a bit of a rough incident earlier on there, as Kemajur is now going to try to get one onto Iceman, the single Hall Life driver. And I think Killswitch might have had a bit of a moment there just in the backfield. There is a yellow flag. Somebody might have... No? Usually somebody spun when there's a yellow flag. Oh, and MayJP actually spun.
Wait, what?
I think MayJP had a bit of a moment because he's down into 9th position, gets forced off the track by Iceman there. And now he's down into 10th. Unfortunately, the replays are bugged, so we can't show a replay of that, unfortunately, this time around. But that is definitely a spin from MayJP a bit earlier on.
I would definitely want to see that back in the replay, because he must have dropped it somewhere then, because it's no way he was comfortably in P1 like a second and a half to the P2.
Yeah, now B23 is now comfortably in that lead. Dennis is back up in the podium spots. The High Caliber cars are actually pretty close to fighting for a lead spot here, so these guys are looking really strong. As soon as I say that, that's a commentator's cursive I've ever seen. While Flaring Aces loses it on the exit of the toe, and he is clattered into the wall. He's got 3 points of damage. It is light damage here.
Going on the inside.
It is light damage here in SWT, so that should repair itself pretty shortly, but still not an ideal run here for the veteran.
Good move from MayJP, going around the outside into that corner. You love to see it.
You'll love to see it indeed.
The field starting to spread a little bit now from P1 downwards. We've got Jay Schulze in P1, that's a big surprise.
Yeah, now he's under pressure from Dennis here for P2, and Dennis is going to try to fire one up the inside. Now it's going to become a real game of chicken here coming up to the chicane. And it's going to be Dennis who wins out that engagement, but Schulte goes off. Schulte's off and into the wall. Almost runs right into Anti-Shifty here. Elevo Carmen actually in a really good spot too. They're currently P3 and P4 as it sits right now. But these two have come to blows before. Just thinking back at the season opener for SWT at Dragon Trail, these two did come to blows. Hopefully we don't see that here this time around, but it is very much possible that we could see that here. As we do have Tall Man just behind, watching these two like a hawk, waiting for one of them to make a mistake.
Yes, indeed. Oh, it's really interesting to see this first few laps, especially. There's a lot is happening at the moment, and you just can't keep track of it.
Unfortunately,
is in P11. That's a bit poor for him.
I mean, I know it's unfortunate, but unfortunately we can't get replays for a lot of this stuff too. But yeah, we're not chameleons. We can really keep our eyes only in a handful of places. And to answer the question about Dennis, I just see in the chat, Dennis is currently P2, chasing down B23, the reigning champion. Although it is well noted, B23 has not really touched his overtake this entire race, so he's definitely winning out that management battle.
Yeah, indeed. This is a proof on the medium tires as well. And I think only Major P's on the hards at the moment. So that's we do see the hards for the first time in the season. Probably the last time as well, but that nonetheless.
Yeah, I mean, it's a shame really, because the hard tire really could be a strong tire, but it's just so much slower than every other tire in the racing category, aside from like the inters and the wets, obviously. So, so for those of you who may be new, like, you know, it's your first time joining in, you know, maybe you go to school with one of these drivers, or maybe, you know, you're their spouse, mom, dad, best friend, etc. We'll explain the tires real quick for them as we see Iceman now making his way through. So right now, Iceman and actually race leader EXO B23, they're on the mediums, which is signified by the RM on the bottom left-hand side of your screen. That means they're on the racing medium tire. That will vary depending on the nationality. I know different languages say it differently, but it basically means they're on the medium tire. Now, the medium tire is pretty much the 50-50 of the bunch. It's the most balanced tire out of that range for life expectancy and also grip. I'm going to head down to Major P, who is running the hard tire, signified by RH, as now there's actually quite a big gaggle of drivers fighting here in this midfield. The hard tires have the worst grip, but they do have the best durability of the bunch. And then the soft tires are pretty much the opposite. They got the best grip, they're the fastest tire, but they are significantly lacking on the life expectancy part, as now BJP tries to fight around Kemajur here. Trying to reclaim some positions. Dennis is actually better on tires than B23. Marginally, mind you. It's a little bit on that front left, but still pretty good considering that he's trying to hunt down a reigning champion.
Yep, indeed. Especially tire management is going to be a big, important one in this race. Hand swipe, some of them went for the hards just to have more life in them and can push a little bit more than the medium runners can. So it could be favorable for Major P to be on the hards as well at this point, because he has the pace definitely to close in on some guys that are on the medians and also have to save a little bit more than he does.
Yeah, so it'll be interesting to see. I'll be curious to see if we see any soft runners as well, because this isn't nearly as long of a race as the SWT race, or the WEC races. So, and next week is going to be really interesting because we do have a sprint race next week when we head to Spa for round 4 of the championship. So, should be a fun one. I love Spa, it's a good track. It was the host of the first ever Grand Prestige League SF 500, and that was a fun one to watch. It was actually the first GPL event I actually ever commentated for, funny enough. So that track's gonna bring back some good old nostalgia, as now Dennis is still, he's not really burning any additional overtake, and he's really just trying to manage this race. And I mean, this driver, I mean, honestly, I know there's been a lot of hype around AJP and such, but I think Dennis has probably been the most slept-on rookie that we have seen here this season.
Is Dennis a rookie? I believe he raced last season as well in the WEC.
Did Dennis actually? I don't recall that.
I think he did with Mugen, with Ricky. Or was that the season before that?
If that was the case, that might have been the season before, because I don't recall seeing the Mugen team ever last season.
I mean, they weren't pretty active, so that could explain a lot.
The Mugen team is kind of like what the LFO team is now. It's just kind of like, you know, for the drivers who really don't have a team, that's kind of like how it happens, but
I'm pretty sure it was last season.
We can fact check that.
I can check it for you real quick.
Yeah, we can check. You can check that real quick and let me know. But yeah, Dennis has had a really strong. I mean, there's a lot of talk about MayJP coming into the season. Obviously, B23 reigning champion. A lot of talk about him, but there was nothing about Dennis. Dennis.
Oh, sorry about it. It was Iceman and Ricky that were from Mugen, not Dennis.
Gotcha. So a different set of a different Greek driver, under the Greek flag. But yeah, I mean, yeah, Dennis here potentially. I believe he is actually making his debut this season. I think it was brought in as one of the Hellas Racing drivers alongside Julian, who isn't here this week. We saw him last week, but he was not here this week. But Dennis now actually doing really strong to really try to close in the gap. He is falling away just a smidge when it comes to that gap. Okay, so Dennis did WEC in Season 4, so Dennis is not a rookie anymore. So, ignore that. MayJP is still the most impressive rookie that we've seen so far this season. But Dennis has definitely been a massive dark horse here this season. He has done exceptionally well. As now we actually drop back here a little bit, there is some battles going on. Schultze and Nico, Project Zero versus High Caliber. High Caliber had a really good start to the race, but oh, sweet Lord have mercy. That tire wear on Schultze compared to Nico. Look at the difference between those two. That is... oof.
That is a lot.
That is... And Shifty is retired, so we are going to be down to 11 drivers. Shifty was having a bit of a good run, though. But I think Shifty has been dealing with wheel issues since the beginning of the season. So, yeah, that's a bit unfortunate there. For the for the Bahaman driver racing for LFO Karma. But he has been having some wheel issues in recent times. So, I mean, it makes sense. If you have wheel issues, it's going to make things really difficult. It's like driving a real car. If you have issues steering, then that car is not going to be super great to drive. Schultze now...
damage. I had a little bit of damage.
Schultze and Killswitch now going side by side. Schultze gets the move done. Schultze also running that or durable hard tire, so the hard tire really coming into play here. As still, that is... I mean... I'd have to test it myself, but...
Oh, Iceman in the wall.
Oh no!
He has no no grip left in the left front.
Oh yeah, wow! And I thought I was thinking
was worse.
Yeah, I was saying I thought Schulte's was bad.
Oh,
yeah.
Squeezing MayJP a little bit there.
Yeah, I mean, I think here's the thing: when your tires got no grip like that, when it's fully red, it's basically like driving a puncture practically. So I think even if Teo was like turning as hard as that car would want to turn, he's just got no grip.
Gonna get a penalty for that across the yellow line.
Yep, and this track is notorious for that too. So into the pits comes the Greek driver, and that's gonna be a 3-second penalty probably. We'll see. He might have got away with it, but probably not. This track and Road Atlanta are the worst when it comes to that track limit violation or the pit lane violations. I got one earlier when I was just doing practice before I even started, and it was my auto drive.
Oh, the exit.
Yeah, it got me like right about here, and yep, there it is. 3-second penalty.
3 seconds.
B23 is now a bit of a rough one. I estimated earlier when trying to talk through with Shifty that you might be able to get 14 laps on a set of mediums. Yeah, that was a bit optimistic. I mean, you can B23 actually off the track into the wall. It's gonna allow Dennis to really try to close in the gap here. Dennis is now really gonna try to close things in. He's gonna go ahead and get up right behind B23. He's gonna have the slipstream. He's not gonna use the overtake, but he is gonna go ahead and use that slipstream. Coming down into the corner. B23 is gonna have a bit of a rough go at things here. The driver from Seattle, under pressure from the Greek driver. Reigning champion now under significant pressure. Dennis is thinking about shaking for the move.
Going for the move.
And Dennis has got the move. Pretty simple of that, but he did burn a good amount of overtake, getting the move done. But now Dennis can really control this race. B23 is burning up his tires a bit more than normal, but we do know that the dirty air is a very tough part of this track. Trying to punch a hole in the air of this track is just not easy.
Yeah, indeed. It's really difficult to follow the cars with the dirty air. And the tires are gonna burn a lot faster when you're stuck behind a car. So I think if Brandon want to keep his good race chances alive, he needs to get past Dennis again as soon as possible.
Yeah, because Dennis,
even with an undercut.
That might be what Exo does here with B23. I mean, Dennis right now is Dennis is rapid. I mean, the chat said it best. Dennis is indeed a rapid driver right now. So, but he does go off a bit there. Might be, I doubt it, but it might be a half-second pen. But then, if that happened, then I think B23 would get hit with it too. So I think both drivers got away with that one. Running a bit wide on the exit of the final corner. As now Tallman Tallman's coming into the pits. I think he got through that one okay. May JP will probably be pitting in the nearest future. Ducadona will probably pit in the next lap.
It was a P3, that's very impressive from him.
Yeah, I mean, considering the run of bad luck that Tallman has had recently, sitting at P3 for a while is pretty good. That would be his best result so far in either WC or SWT.
I think that's a little bit of consistency coming into play. That he can keep it on track, and that's really worked out for him. As you can see, a lot of mistakes from drivers up and down the field. Also with managing tires as well. You can see how much consistency and saving your tires can do for you in the long run. And Tallman is a good example for that.
Speaking of Tallman, he's running on the hard tire now, so he'll be able to get some extra endurance. There's a very good chance that this is the last hard tire that we'll see all season. Just because the hard tire is, I mean, obviously just by nature it is the slowest tire of the bunch, but it is drastically slower than the medium. So you're honestly, like, in terms of just overall race pace, you're better off running multiple sets of mediums versus running a hard. But on higher degradation tracks like this one at Barcelona, you could honestly run that hard tire and still do pretty dang well with it. So we'll see if that's how Tallman gets on with it. Jumping up a few spots here. Ducadon's into the pits. Now Promo Ferengase is back up into P4. Nico's going to go by. So Ducadono in the pits. And yeah, the hard tires are not a favorable choice for a lot of drivers, but on some of these higher degradation tracks, we're seeing chemistry swap to them as well. So the hard tires could maybe pay out here. But I severely doubt we're going to see him at any other track on the calendar.
No, it's not likely. It's maybe I'll check if there's a possibility for our tire, but I doubt it. I really doubt it.
Yeah, I don't think so either. I think this is really the last track you'll see it on, because there's no other track where you're going to be that high on tire degradation. I mean, Spa's coming up. That's not really a high deg circuit, and even then, you're better off just running. You could probably just run mediums and softs for that race.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, just take a look. Holy moly. Okay, now that's a pit stop there, but Dennis, I mean, this man has just been cooking with gasoline and through an entire napalm bomb onto it. That man is on fire right now. Pulling away from a championship leader like it's nothing. Very good stuff there from Dennis.
Indeed, but he does still have a pit stop advantage as well on MaGP. 20 seconds-ish would be, if he would pit now, I think it would be still in P1. As this the pit lane in Watkins Glen is a little shorter on the shorter side, so.
Yeah, and it's funny because then we go next week with WC, we go to Spa, which is a notoriously long pit lane. That track in Le Mans are probably the longest pit lanes in the entire game. It's crazy, but that's just how it is. That's just how those tracks are. It's just one of the interesting quirks of Gran Turismo, is that some pit lanes are drastically longer than others, whether they are in the real world or not. So, and it's also really interesting too, because I mean, this is like IMSA style pit boxes compared to the actual pit lanes and garages that some of the F1 tracks like Spa and Monza have.
Dennis might have crossed the line on the pit entry. He went a little bit over the yellow line, so that would be a penalty, I think.
And that 3-second penalty is a brutal one, because you don't even lose 3 seconds. No, you lose like probably almost close to like 5. Because what it does here is it slows your car down automatically, so, and then it takes a while for you to go back up to that speed. He does come out in P2. No, he got away with it. He did not get hit with a 3-second penalty, and he comes out just at a B23. So that is good stuff there from Dennis. MaJP, though, is still ahead, still running the hard tire, and he'll probably run that for a few more laps. We'll probably see him come in maybe around 18 or 19, probably 20 at the absolute max. I don't see him. He's definitely not making it to the end on this tire.
No, definitely not. I think if MaJP can play the team game here, Brandon could have a good chance of reclaiming the P1 spot after MaJP makes his pit stop.
Yeah, but he's gonna have to really do that. But here's a crazy thing, right? Is team games are totally allowed. Like, unless you absolutely like hit somebody with a maneuver 7 from Hot Wheels Acceleracers, you're gonna be perfectly fine. but he's so far back that Dennis isn't close enough to really be affected by the dirty air from MaJP. But MaJP, I mean, he would have to back off so much, and if he backs off too much, then when he does make his next pit stop, he might even lose some spots there. So B23 is actually, he's got less overtake now than Dennis, so this one's just gonna be a fight just straight purely on pace between these two to the end, and we might see our third different winner from 3 different teams.
Yeah, that's a good possibility. I think as it stands now, if MaJP boxes, he will be just right behind Tolman, maybe in front of him. That's my guess there.
Yeah, and actually, funny enough, this would be, I think for Killswitch and Tallman, this would be the best finishing position of the season. Because Tallman, his best finish is a P8, and he got that last week. 2 weeks ago. Last round in Barcelona. He did manage to grab a P8. So, a P5 in SWT would be his best result yet in the championship. So, I mean, it's still all to play for here. We should actually probably consider taking a look at some of the midfield drivers and see how things are going. Gaps are pretty well spread out, so there's not any immediate battles happening. It's now just a strategic battle at this point. But yeah, Tallman, actually I think Tallman, it'll be close, but if he can use some of that consistency and manage, Tallman could make it to the end on this hard combat.
Sorry, but it is a move from Dennis onto MaJP for the lead. And he's going for it.
Around the outside, using a good amount of the overtake, and the team game was attempted here by MaJP, but MaJP now actually using a bit of overtake here. Trying to maybe retake. Oh, this is going to be dicey stuff here. Oh, and Dennis holds on to it! Dennis holding on to that position, and he is going to make it on through, but he burned so much overtake, and B23 still has a good amount of overtake to play with, so the team game might have worked out, but it's definitely not any immediate effect. Very good stuff there from AJP, but an incredible move from Dennis to really hold on to that. But the question is, did he burn too much overtake trying to fight for that position?
I think he did. He might have lost a lot of overtake, more than he might have wanted, to get an overtake done on AJP. So that could really bite him in the end, if he runs out of overtake and Brandon's really on the attack.
Yeah, but I think AJP is not falling far enough back, so I think, yeah, I don't think Dennis is really going to burn much more overtake at this stage. B23 might need to, though. He might need to burn some overtake to really try to catch up to these guys. He'll try to benefit from a little bit of the slipstream here from AJP, but he's just about within range of his dirty air, which can really unsettle your car and just make your car just not turn as well as it normally could. But AJP, I mean, once B23 gets close enough, I think they'll probably just call AJP into the pits. I mean, those hard tires are pretty much cooked. I can see maybe going one more lap, but they'll probably call him in at the end of this lap, so that will allow B23 to be unleashed. But Dennis is actually moving up. He's making time without burning any overtake. So Dennis, he is locked in for Hellas Racing here today.
Ooh, Iceman left.
So that is both LFO Karma drivers out of Watkins Glen. Very unfortunate there, but that's just the unfortunate nature of sim racing. Sometimes you lose to the connectivity gremlins.
Yep. It's really unfortunate for LFO Karma.
Then one of the new teams on the block, it's them and Hellas Racing, the newest teams on the block, and Hellas Racing is having probably the best season out of any of the new teams. But
see Major P swapping with Brando right here.
Yeah, I'm surprised Major P actually stayed out for another lap. I thought he would have pit, honestly.
Out of box if I was him.
Yeah, same.
He will just lose too much time at this point. Maybe not. I think he could be in front of Tallman if he keeps this up. And I think JD also needs to pit as well, because he's also on the worn tires.
Yeah, so both of them will probably need to pit in here soonish. AJP's definitely got to come in at the end of this lap, because I mean, if he goes another lap, he's gonna have that puncture-like state, where he just has zero grip on that front left, which is the tire that takes the most abuse on this track. So he's gonna be in a really bad spot if he doesn't pit this lap, and he's gonna lose so much time and potentially even a podium to kill switch here. And here's a bit of a fun fact. I think AJP is still the only driver with a 100% podium rate. Well, no, it's him and Dennis.
No. Dennis wasn't on the podium last race, I think so. In Spain, it was, I believe, Flaring, Major P, and then Brando.
Oh yeah, you're right. So actually, Major P is the only driver who has a 100% podium rates this season in SWT.
Speaking of, he's in the pit lane now. Good moment for him to pit.
Those brand new Yokohama tires getting strapped on to the Exo Rapide machine, and he's gonna come out. Kill switch also pits in.
Of hearts.
Maybe.
Or is it just the game?
No, it's mediums.
Mediums.
It's mediums. So he comes out actually behind Ducadono, who pitted in earlier. So I think all these drivers, actually, come to think of it, these guys can make it to the end. Tall Man can definitely make it to the end. Ducadono could maybe. He's gonna be struggling a bit, but he could make it to the end as well. Major P obviously just pitted in, so he's gonna make it to the end, no issue. So yeah, these guys are just gonna fight and make it to the end. And now this is probably gonna be all-out pace.
Let's see if Ducky can do a Perez for Tallman here.
It would be
go for it.
It would be Tallman's first podium in a competitive series so far. It would be really awesome to see. F16 got one in the LMP Masters series. MayJP has got multiple podiums and wins. And Tallman, out of that friendly group, is the last one to get a podium. And seeing this driver's evolution over the course of the last couple of months has been nothing short of extraordinary. Picked this man up for LFO back when he was just entering the scene. And he did some races for LFO back when it was actually a blue team, back when it was actually supposed to be Arctic Ace Esports coming into GPL. But Tallman it hasn't been easy for the British driver.
Indeed, he has a little bit of damage on the suspension and front wing. I think he hit the exit wall of the last corner.
He might have, and Major P does get through. He's up in the P4 now. And I mean, Tallman has definitely improved so much at this track from the last time he was here. Because he actually damaged his engine last time out, last week when it was WEC racing here. So he actually damaged his engine, which is a pretty rare one. I've only seen that on about 2 other occasions here at GPL, and one of them was during the LP Master Series. So damaging an engine is a tough one to do, but it hurts so much when it happens. But now he's pretty much in contention for a podium.
Yeah, he's doing a really good job so far. I mean, considering where he started the race, he's kept his nose clean, very good. And this is what I'm gonna keep saying it again. Consistency is key, and he is really showing that now. Also avoiding the incidents along the race. This is very good stuff from him.
Yeah, that's another thing too, is that Tallman used to pretty much always get involved with a lot of these early incidents on the race, and then he just wouldn't be able to really recover. But today, he's kept it clean and kept it consistent, but he's got one of his best mates behind him in May JP, the Ord driver with a 100% podium rate. As it sits right now in SWT is flying ace. He's going to try to get one onto Dunkin' Donuts just a bit further back, and he's got the move. The fresher tires really come into play here for the Welsh driver. He makes his way up into P5, and now he might try to chase down May JP, but now the battle for that final podium spot is on. But Dennis has just been in a class of his own here today. But Beach right there really needs to start burning some of that overtake if he wants any chance to try to catch him here.
Yeah, it's gonna be a difficult task to keep that 5-second gap back to overtaking range, but if he wants to do it, he needs to burn a lot more overtake than he is doing now.
Yeah, so I mean, it's been a really good job here from Dennis. He was already on fire with about 0.3 of a second gap in qualifying earlier on. So Dennis might be another championship hunter here. As now Major P is called up to Tallman. The two friends are going to go absolutely ballistic trying to fight against each other. Pedal to the metal. No quarter given as Tallman and Major P are coming to blows here, but it's the fresh medium tires. It's the fresher medium tires against the aging hards, and that's a battle that the mediums will win. 9 times out of 10, and Major P is looking to keep the podium streak alive as he does get past his friend Tallman. But Tallman, even after that, he is going to be in P4, which is a massive improvement for his best finishing position so far of the season.
Yep, indeed. Good improvements. But I see Flaring Aces creeping up as well, so he could be very much a danger to Tallman's P4 at this point as well. We can't call him out yet.
Yeah, it's not over till that checkered flag waves, and that is definitely one of the most true sentiments. I mean, we look at Dragon Trail, how many photo finishes we had at Dragon Trail in the opening weekend of the season. I mean, that really very tight near miss with Whiteout and Viper was a beautiful piece of cinematic history in the Grand Prestige League. And now, actually, Duncan Ono is in the pits, so this is going to be for a soft tire. He's going to go for a fast lap. Strapper got a set of Michelins. This is going to be a soft tire to the end.
Yep, indeed. Does he have the OT to put out a quick lap? Might as well.
Yep, so there he goes. He's going to try to go for that fastest. He's going to go for the fastest lap point, and that is exactly what Ducadona is going to try to do. Schulte now, for high caliber, thinking the same thing. He is definitely pitted in. Oh no, he's on. No, he's out for mediums again. So that was just another pit stop, but it is a
the pit lane.
3-second time penalty there for the Canadian driver, as Ducadona is going to make his way through. And now we're going to watch the battle up at the front, but Dennis just keeps pulling away. B23 has not really burned any of that overtake, and I think it's, now he's going to burn it. But is it too little too late here, Rogue? Because I think it is. I think it's just too little too late.
It was way too late in my opinion. If he wanted to motor charge, he would have most have done it a little bit sooner.
Yeah, exactly. He definitely needed to burn up that overtake a lot earlier. A lot earlier, honestly. Like, probably around lap 20 is when he needed to really start burning it. I mean, I'm not saying he should start doing qualifying laps, as he has now made up a second. But now, I mean, because here's the thing. His tires are a lot worse than Dennis's at the moment. His overtake's in a better spot, but not by much anymore. So, B23, I think, is just going to struggle a bit. And I think, unless, granted, mistakes can still happen, so I mean, it's never over until it's over. Until that checkered flag waves, it is pretty much going to be all she wrote here for Dennis. He might actually get that victory.
Yeah, indeed. It's been a good race for him so far, I'm not gonna lie. He has really kept the good pace, good consistency. He was he had a really bad start in the beginning, but he really made up for that with good pace, and might reward him with the win. But like you said as well, it's not over until the checkered flag.
Yeah, when the checkered flag waves, that is the only time when it's really going to be over. Speaking of things not being over, yeah, Flaring Aces is still going to be on a bit of a hard charge here, trying to go in and catch up to Tall Man here. And actually, another fun fact is that I think Dennis is on track to setting a, he's about got a grand slam here. If he doesn't lose fastest lap, it's 3 laps to go, soon to be 2 laps. But if he doesn't lose the lead, or if he doesn't lose the fastest lap point, then it is going to be a grand slam for Dennis, which I think might be the first one of the season.
I think you're right there, actually.
Yeah, because I think Ducky is gonna. Ducky's on the soft tire, so he probably. And I think this is the first like actual push lap he'll be able to do on the soft. So I think Ducky will end up taking it, but the Grand Slam is still definitely within the realm of possibility for the Greek driver in P1.
Yep, indeed. I think it's the first Grand Slam of WEC and SWT, both, I think. So that's something to have on your name for this season.
Yeah, I might put Dennis on the radar for quite a few teams here for next season and beyond. So we'll see. Dennis is now, he's on the penultimate lap, and he's, oh yeah, B23 is out of overtake, so it's over. Dennis has still got a ton of overtake left to play with here, so barring a major accident, Dennis has got this race pretty much in the bag. He just needs to bring it home. That's all he needs to do, is just bring it on home, and he's got a win in the bag.
Yep, indeed. See, going up and down the field a little bit, not much going on, but we can see flaring within on a 1 second to Tallman as well. So that could be very interesting indeed. Oh, interesting to the end, especially in the final lap.
Yeah, so now it is going to be the final lap here coming up soon. Just taking a look through our remaining drivers. Keminger currently trying to get that fastest lap point as well on that soft tire. Anyone else on the softs? Ducadona still on the soft tires, but he hasn't been able to make any of the improvements now. But on the final lap, it is Dennis now on this final lap of the race. And B23 threw everything at him and the kitchen sink, but unfortunately, Dennis did not let that sink in, and he is now 6 seconds ahead. It has been a dominant weekend for the Greek driver. Still a good result though for XL. They're still gonna come away with the most amount of points out of any team. Still gonna extend their lead in the Constructors Championship for SWT. But I mean, it was a definite attempt, but unfortunately it's an attempt that is not gonna hold true. It is now the final lap for a lot of these drivers here. Tall man running a bit wide. He's gonna be under pressure from Flaring Aces. The high caliber driver really trying to get up into P4. He got a win last week in Barcelona. Looking to make another strong performance here, but making his way through the last couple of corners now. This team came in and they were a relative unknown in the Super Formula realm. They've done endurance racing, they've done NASCAR, they've done GT3, but now they will take a victory in Super Formula. Come across the final corner now. Dennis wins the Watkins Glen Grand Prix. First victory of the season for Dennis. 3 different winners in 3 races. P23 gave it his all. P2 for the American. And then JP will round out the podium in P3. What a race here, Rogue. Good action all the way around.
Indeed, it was a very exciting one to watch. Got a lot of battles up and down the field, a lot of mistakes made as well. As you can see, Tolman having a big slide there as well. But he's also done a very good job keeping his nose clean most of the race. He's going home in P4. Good job to him. Congratulations on that P4 as well. Flaring in 5th, right behind him.
Yep, and that was a good race for them. Killswitch will be the next driver to come across the line. And then it'll be Duckadono, which Dennis actually does get the Grand Slam here if these fastest laps don't come through. And this one's not going to come through. And yeah, no, so, oh, Schulte hits the wall there on the end, trying to chase down Nico. This is for the last finishing position here on the track. And Nico is now going to go ahead and make his way across the line. He's got a little bit of overtaking left, but Nico will go home in P8 and Schulte P9. And that is the Watkins Glen Grand Prix done and dusted. Your winner for the first time in Season 7, it is Dennis. Take a P1 here for the brand new Hellas Racing outfit. What a race that we have had here today.
Congratulations to Dennis. After an interesting and amazing race so far as well.
Exactly that. Watch. Very good watch indeed. We'll definitely have to watch this one back at some point, but it is going to be Dennis taking victory, fastest lap and pole position, getting the perfect trifecta. And then it is B23, JP, Tall Man, Flaring Aces, Killswitch, Duckadono, Nico the Sicko rounding out the top 8. And then it is going to be Schulte, Chemiser, and then the 2 LFO Karma drivers not finishing the Grand Prix here today. Well, after an exciting weekend of racing action, tune in next week for the first round of sprint racing action here this season when the World Elite Championship takes it all the way to Spa for the first sprint of the season. Before we go, any final words, Rogue, before we sunset the stream here?
I got none to say apart from an amazing race. That's basically it.
Alright, well once again, that's going to wrap things up here at the Great Prestige League. If it's your first time here, don't make it your last. Go ahead and drop a like and subscribe. Turn on those post notifications so you don't miss any of the races happening here. And tune in next week when we go to Spa-Francorchamps for round 4 of the World Elite Championship. The first of 2 sprint weekends in the series. On behalf of Rogue, my name is Patrick Coleman, aka Reckless, and we have been your hosts and commentators for tonight's action. See you guys next week in Belgium. Stay hydrated and have a good night. Goodbye.